I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the many failed attempts at remaking the absolutely hilarious IT Crowd. IT Crowd is one of my favourite shows, and to see it continuously be ruined by remakes is just so annoying to me, so I decided to dedicate a whole video to it, so I really hope you enjoy it. So before we get into it, I just want to talk about this banner here, which is also my channel banner, and it was created entirely by my sister, who has like commissions on Depop. So if you want to check it out, she does a ton of really cool drawings and designs and stickers and literally anything you can think of, and she does everything custom, so go check her out on Depop. I'll have a link down below. So onto the video. So I'm sure all of you will be aware of what the IT Crowd is, but just to refresh you, I'm going to talk about the original before I talk about the remakes. So the original IT Crowd was written by Linehan, and it was broadcast on Channel 4. Linehan, I know he's not the most popular person at the moment, but he's a really good comedy writer. So obviously he did the IT Crowd, he also did Father Ted and Black Books, and is currently working on Motherland, all four of which are absolutely amazing shows, and I do recommend them. So the IT Crowd stars Chris O'Dowd as Roy, Richard Ayoade as Moss, Katherine Parkinson as Jen, and those are the main three characters, all absolutely hilarious. It also stars Chris Morris as Denholm, Matt Berry as Douglas, and Noel Fielding as Richmond. So an absolutely brilliant cast in my opinion. The first episode was broadcast on the 3rd of February 2006 and ran until 2010, consisting of 4 seasons of 6 episodes each. Then in 2013 there was a double-length special released as kind of the finale, and yeah, that is not enough of the show in my opinion, but that is what we've got, and every episode is absolutely brilliantly written and the actors are brilliant and the jokes are funny. It's honestly, I cannot share my love for this show enough. I've watched it too many times. So despite a fairly lacklustre first season in terms of viewers, it quickly became a cult classic. And yeah, everybody loves the IT Crowd. I don't know a single person who doesn't. As well as being loved by the audience, it is also loved by critics, winning multiple comedy awards, including a Rose d'Or in 2009 for the best sitcom, and a 2009 BAFTA for the best sitcom as well. Even though all the actors in the show are absolutely brilliant, Katherine Parkinson has gained particular recognition, winning a British Comedy Award in 2009 and a BAFTA in 2014 for her performance as Jen. The IT Crowd is, as I said before, a cult classic. It has some of the best episodes of comedy ever, talking specifically about the workouting episode, which is renowned for being one of the funniest episodes, with the greatest build-up and reveal at the end. Absolutely hilarious. Obviously, as I said before, Linehan isn't the most liked figure at the moment, which is understandable, but we cannot discredit his absolutely amazing comedy writing. Because of its success in the UK, it is not surprising at all that they wanted to exploit its success with international versions, and before I started researching this video, I was only familiar with one international version, when in fact there have been 3 American attempts and 1 German attempt to recreate this, which makes no sense to me because they could just, especially for an English-speaking audience, they could just release the episodes in America. That makes sense to me. And if you really wanted to dub it in German, I don't know, it just makes no sense. So in 2007, the first American version was actually supposed to air, which would have been during the 2nd season of the UK version. So very quick kind of, going to make an international version when there's only been 1 or 2 seasons out, which is a bit weird. But it also, which I think is the most surprising thing, is that Richard Ayoade actually continued his character of Moss in the American version. He worked alongside Joel McHale, who plays in Community, plays Jeff. Forgot his name then for a second. Richard Ayoade actually admitted that he completely regrets doing the American version, saying that I was the only one dumb enough to do it. It was deeply weird. It was a bit like a play where everybody left. It was very odd. As I said before, it also featured Joel McHale as Roy and Jessica St. Clair as Jen. So no, they didn't change the names of the characters, which is very, very weird to me, because a lot of the times with remakes, they do change the names of the characters, even if they keep the script the same and the concept the same. I just thought that was really weird. They couldn't even be bothered to change the names. Yep, they didn't change anything, in fact, apart from some of the actors. It's just baffling to me. The pilot that was leaked is pretty much exactly the same as the original British version. It's so weird watching it. It's like you're having like a weird trip or something. It's almost like deja vu, if that makes sense, because you know what you should be seeing, but it's not right. Like, even Richard Ayoade's performance, in my opinion, is quite poor in the American version, which I think is probably due to the lack of chemistry with the other actors. As I said before, they pretty much copied the entire script, which, when it comes to remakes, I just don't understand why they always insist on having the same script. They have failed it time after time. Like, it just doesn't work. At least take the concept of, a bunch of nerds and someone who doesn't really know about computers working in a high-end business place. Like, you could do that and write original jokes, and jokes that fit to an American audience. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, surely they have known from The American Office, which is the biggest success story in terms of remakes. Even the first season, where they copied jokes from the British one, didn't work. It almost got cancelled after the first season. And then they learned from that and was like, yeah, we need to create our own jokes. We need the American people to like our jokes, not necessarily keep it true to the British version. It is a very weird watch if you have seen the pilot version. I'm not sure whether I can actually put clips on this, because I've seen it's been taken down time and time again on YouTube. So you're just going to have to take my word for it, or find kind of find the series yourself. But it is weird, because as I said before, the jokes are exactly the same, they're just not delivered right. Like, it's weird because the jokes are funny, but then they're not. The actors as well aren't necessarily bad actors. It's just, it seems to be they're trying to copy an actor playing a character rather than bringing their own spin to a character. So Katherine Parkinson has such an unusual but so unique voice and mannerisms, and that's what makes her character of Jen, her interpretation of Jen, so funny. It's exaggerating things that she already has. Whereas in the American version, it seems like she's trying to copy Katherine Parkinson's quirky mannerisms in a way, but obviously not been able to do it because her voice isn't like that, and kind of falling flat. Also, apparently they did actually write the full season of the American version, which, actually, thinking about it, probably wasn't a lot of work, since they did just copy all the jokes. Yeah, there's not really much I can say about it, really, apart from it's bad. Joel McHale, I think, is probably one of the worst choices for Roy, even though I think he's a great actor. He was absolutely amazing in Community. It just doesn't match up with the character of Roy, especially the way they did it. They just got a handsome man who then goes on to play, like, the kind of bad boy in Community. As a nerd, they just chucked a graphic t-shirt on him and thought that would make him look like a nerd. Whereas with Roy, they've got him kind of really dishevelled, they've got him spilling food on him, and I think they tried to copy, like, change the, have you tried turning off and on again, to can I put you on hold, or something like that. It's weird. Like, sometimes they kind of cut jokes short, which seems weird, and then other times they extend jokes, which, it's just they haven't found a balance at all. Despite this, they decided to try again, even though it got cancelled after the pilot.
Hello, IT, can you please hold? Thank you.
But before I go on to the other American versions, we're going to talk a little bit about the German version, because that actually was released in 2007 as well, and it had exactly the same problems as the American version. They attempted to... So this actually got to air. It aired for 2 episodes and then got cancelled. So there are differences here. The German version did change the names of the characters and seemed to just change more about it than the American version. There was an attempt here to try and change the jokes to fit a German audience. For example, I find this really funny, but they changed the names of the episodes. So obviously the first episode of season 1 is called Yesterday's Jam, and they changed it to Yesterday's Bread Rolls. I'm not sure, is jam not a thing in Germany? I don't know, but they changed it to Yesterday's Bread Rolls. And also, the second episode is called Calamity Jen, and they changed that to Stressy Times. Obviously in German, whatever Stressy Times is in German, but I think it's just a weird thing that out of all the things they change is the titles. I wasn't actually able to find kind of one of the episodes of the German version, unfortunately. I scoured the internet. If anybody has a link, please put it in the comments or DM me or something, because I really want to watch it to give it like a proper look at what it's like, because I've only got kind of what people said about it, and it got absolutely terrible reviews on IMDb. So I'll give you kind of some of the things it was criticised for. So it was criticised for the poor translation of the original stories and jokes, poor direction, poor timing, and the poor performance of the actors, which is a pretty damning review. So obviously with saying it's the poor translation of original stories and jokes, they obviously didn't really try to create their own stories. They obviously just tried to copy the original, which again doesn't work. And it makes no sense. You may as well, if you want to have the exact same thing, but in German, just dub the original. Or just put subtitles on. What's the point? You may as well take the concept and make it your own, instead of taking everything and speaking it in a German language with different actors, with jokes that don't work. I just don't understand. So as I said before, America actually had a few more attempts at remaking it. So despite 2 very, very terrible attempts from America and Germany, in 2014, America tried it again. So this was actually supposed to be made for NBC, like the original American one, so the first American one, both made for NBC, which is a channel I really like and has done The Office, so they have experience with adapting British TV shows and making it work, so I don't know why they didn't try it. So this was actually produced by Bill Lawrence, who is most known for creating Scrubs and co-creating Cougar Town. So again, he's got experience with sitcoms. I don't know why it didn't work, but this actually didn't get to air again. They made the pilot and this didn't make it to air. So again, the pilot wasn't released. The only reason we've seen the 2007 American version is because it got leaked, and I don't think we're going to see this one. And then, again, so 3 attempts failed now. They attempted in 2018, which I'm not actually sure if this has completely failed yet, but they announced they're trying again. And this time, Graham Linehan is actually going to be producing it. He's going to be writing for it. So this was announced in 2017 or 18, and I have not heard anything since. Nothing about actors, nothing about plot, whether it's going to be the same as the original. Graham Linehan did say that it's not going to be the same, so it's going to be very different for British audiences to watch, which is good. But it's been 2 to 3 years with no updates since, so I'm saying it's pretty likely that it's failed again, which is unfortunate, or not really, because I think it won't work. But I'd much rather they just add it on to the original if they're going to do anything with it. Just make more episodes with the original characters, which I know isn't going to be possible because all of the actors are doing different things. Like, for most of them, I think the IT Crowd was kind of their big break. I know obviously Noel Fielding did The Mighty Boosh before, and there were some other people who worked on that. Richard Ayoade was in the radio version. But for a lot of the actors, the IT Crowd was their kind of big break into comedy and acting. It really annoys me. They keep doing it with all shows I like, trying to adapt it to an American audience, and it never works. Like, if I like, say, one of my favourite shows is Parks and Rec, it's an American show, I would rather just watch the American show than try and adapt it to a British version, because it's still funny. I just don't understand, like, is British humour that incompatible with American humour for Americans? Can they just not understand it? Like, I don't think it's too different. I don't know, it just baffles me. It just really, really baffles me. We don't need to adapt everything, especially when it's going from an English-speaking country to another English-speaking country. I can understand remaking it for different languages or where cultures are extremely different, but British and American culture isn't that different, so I really don't understand. And obviously it's shown that it's not too different because they're not actually changing anything. They're just taking the original and putting American actors in it. I just don't understand. It's like I will never get, and they keep trying it again and again and it never works, apart from like The Office. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this very ranty video. You can tell I feel very strongly about it, and I am planning on doing quite a few videos about American remakes because I love to hate them. So if there are any particular shows you want me to talk about, then let me know in the comments. I do have a few already planned, so it might not be like too quickly before I can do your suggestions, but keep suggesting them. If there's any that you want me to do, please suggest them and I will look into it. I might have to watch shows to be able to talk about it, if that makes, if I haven't seen it. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a like, it's really appreciated, and please subscribe because I'm getting closer and closer to hitting 1,000 subscribers, which is such an incredible milestone for me. So if you do like my videos, please subscribe. I talk about TV, that's what I do, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.